Hello, it's Masked here, and today I'll just make some brush ink drawings. Nothing special, just some cute animals, but the point of this video will be about your line control. Line weight is very important. You have to control how hard you put the pressure on your brush, because even though you can regulate the thinner and thicker lines, you also have to watch out for some hairs that sometimes stick out, and they can make a little mistake. Now, if that happens, it's not the end of the world. You can use just some liquid eraser, or if you scan it in later on, you can just make the correction digitally. But even then, it's better to train yourself to avoid the mistakes instead of fixing them, because it will make you faster, and two, you will be more brave with your eyes, so less hesitant. Very important to know how to make correct brush strokes. And if you have trouble doing that, then I should use some disposable paper, not something that you put in your sketchbook. If you have disposable paper, like just regular A4 print paper, maybe you have something printed out, you don't need it anymore, but the backside is clean. Instead of throwing that paper away and wasting that full page on the backside, just use that for inking. It doesn't matter if the paper is too thin and it doesn't suit your ink, and the ink will go right through and it's not good. Just use it and make some confident big lines, because that way, one, you used the paper, it's more good for nature, and two, you don't have that fear of ruining a new sketchbook, or ruining your pencil art. Now, you can also avoid that by scanning in your pencil line work first, and then you can print it out, and but just try a bunch of things. Doodle around first. Warm up before inking. That's also something that can be good. Check your ink. Yes, sometimes it's just your tools. The ink can be too thick or too thin. Sometimes it's a paper. Not when you're just making these training lines, like I just mentioned earlier, just for some training or doodling around. But with your final work, it can just be the tools, the tools. So check your ink, check your paper, check your brush. Sometimes it's really your brush, and you have watercolor brushes that are super expensive, but you don't need these. You can just train with very cheap brushes, watercolor brushes. Get the hang of it. Know what's going on. What is the point of some brush shapes? Why is this brush shaped like that, or something like that? And then, when you're experienced, when you ruined a bunch of brushes that were cheap, you can just invest in one good brush, and it will last you for years if you clean it off after use, just with some soap and water. You don't need these special liquid like soaps that are meant for ink. Then just some regular water and soap will do the job pretty fine. I did that always, and it worked out for me. Indian ink, if you use that, it's a good ink, depending on the brand. It will ruin your brushes if you dip them all the way through. Never do that. Just the points, halfway is enough. It will soak itself up just good. And a lot of times your loaded brush, when I say loaded, I mean it's full with ink. Your first line will be thick, no matter how good you are with your brush, because the brush is just filled up with ink. There's just too much ink. You can't put a thin line. So what some people do, they take an extra sheet of paper and smear or make some strokes to get rid of that excess ink. I myself don't do that too often. I find it a waste of ink. Although some people say it's better to waste that ink to ruin your artwork. Yes, that's also true. But what I do is if I have like big spots on my artwork that needs to be filled with ink regardlessly, then I just make an X on these places when I do pencil work, and I fill these places in with that ink that was like loaded my brush, and I can't make thin strokes. I just put the excess ink, the extra ink on these black spots that have to be filled in regardless. So that way I have like shot two bunnies with one shot, you know, two flies in one slap. So that's like things you can get with experience. So don't be afraid